What's up, world? Let me tell you about this beard growth oil I got from 12 tribes on Earth. 8 ounces of oily goodness with a nozzle that prevents sprays and spills, and soft ingredients that make it perfect addition to anyone's morning routine. From coconut to castor, all these oils are hand chosen. After using this herbal blend, the biggest thing I noticed is how soft, how strong my hair was, and how good I feel. Pick up your bottle today and make your beard the star of the show.
Shalom, family. Good to see you all. Hope you're doing well. Give me 1 second. Okay, y'all. The UPS guy came and he knocked on my door. I don't know. I didn't know what he wanted. So anyway, y'all, we're gonna talk about now that the US and Iran are in a full-scale war. Everybody are saying by this weekend or by the beginning of next week, gas prices are going to soar in this country. So I know many of us were anticipating this anyway because we knew no peace deal that Donald Trump makes with Iran was going to stick. It has not. This war started in what, February? And this is July, and there is no end in sight. It's going to be just like Russia Ukraine. You remember all them high IQ people were online when that kicked off, and they were all online talking about, oh, this will be over in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Oh yeah, this is nothing, y'all. I've seen this before. Oh, it'll be over in 2 weeks. It's 5 years now. Russia Ukraine has been going on for 5 years. And this thing that America got going with Iran, I would not be surprised if it's 2027 and 2028 and it's still going strong. We are in very different times now. What applied 20, 30 years ago absolutely don't apply anymore. And we know not only are there divisions in households, there are also divisions among nations. So, as long as you have people like Donald Trump doing the negotiating, you can best believe it ain't going nowhere. You know, I would think if everybody's IQ was so high, this country should be running smoothly, but it's everything but that. So, y'all, let's get into it. Let me share my screen. October, Opal, I think a lot of them do feel foolish. I do. When I look at their videos, I voted for Trump. Oh, I'm so sorry. I voted. You know what I mean? I think they do feel shame. I do. Because I can see it in their faces when they're boo hooing and crying all over the video. Because, see, they thought all the harm was going to come to us. And that did not happen. The harm is coming to the very people that voted for him. And that's also a sign that their judgment is here. It is here. So thank you for the one.
Breaking news into the Don Lemon Show newsroom as it involves a war in Iran. Get ready for your gas prices to skyrocket because according to Iran, they said be prepared for the price for a barrel of oil to go up to $200. Right now, it's about $100. It hasn't hit that since 2022. However, gas right now is at $3.58 average a gallon. It was $3.48 a gallon yesterday. So 10 cents a day, you do the math. Within a matter of weeks, it'll be to $5, $6, $7 if this continues. Just so you know, when Joe Biden left office in 2025, gas prices were at about $3.11. Now they're at $3.58. Donald Trump likes to talk about gas prices. This is his own creation, a crisis of his own making. Let's see how he gets us out of this. But get ready to pay a lot more for gasoline.
Breaking news, Iran war update. The U.S. struck what appears to be an underground missile storage facility in Iran, causing a massive explosion that looks nuclear. Someone tell me what kind of bomb the U.S. has in its arsenal that can cause an explosion like this. The underground site probably explains the size, but honestly, it seems nuclear. Iran struck back with drones that hit Oman's largest oil storage facility, causing major damage. Today, Iran announced it is switching from reciprocal hits to continuous strikes and warns it will drive oil prices to $200 a barrel. Iran says the U.S. will not be able to control oil prices. We won't even allow 1 liter of oil to reach the U.S., Israel, and its partners, and any vessel or tanker bound for them will be a legitimate target. Iran appears to be shifting its military strategy as oil prices have declined and U.S. oil prices are now nearing $90 a barrel again. This is a major change where they were only responding to strikes, but now they will be the aggressor with continuous strikes. What Iran has been doing these last 12 days shows how much restraint.
Y'all gas prices about to go up again, y'all. I suggest you go to the fucking gas station now because oil just jumped 6%, which means oil barrels are now $78 a piece. And that's because the memorandum of peace is bye-bye, ho. Yes, Iran and the United States are back at it. They're fighting over the Strait of Hormuz again. So if you follow me on my main page, I'll let y'all know that the memorandum of peace was signed in June. It wasn't a permanent treaty, but it was just saying everybody back the fuck up. We're not going to be shooting at each other. That includes Iran, Lebanon, Israel, and the United States. Don't come together in 90 days and have a real ceasefire deal. Well, that shit wasn't going to last because Israel kept bombing Lebanon. And Iran said, hey, if y'all don't stop that shit, we ain't gonna have no peace. And we still control the strait for like 30 days. And the United States is saying that Iran allegedly attacked a ship coming through the Strait of Hormuz. But they got control. I feel like that's their prerogative. But Iran said none of our missiles or our drones hit that damn commercial ship. Well, in response, Wix R Us decided to say, fuck it, we gonna pop off on y'all. He ordered military strikes on Iran yesterday. Iran said bet and started attacking our military bases in the region. Now, this is where 20% of our oil comes from, that Strait of Hormuz. And before Wix R Us tore Obama's treaty with Iran, we was doing fucking fine. Now gas prices are about to rise. People's stock markets are crashing. I guarantee you Wix R Us is making bank. Israel's about to start bombing Lebanon again. Taxpayers' dollars are about to pay for all this shit. No, anytime, God, we're still waiting. Actually, you can take him before you take Mitch.
For the high prices of gas is $4.19 in South Florida today. I'm in Delray right now, and it's $4.19 at this station. Gas has increased $1 a gallon or more, all because of this unnecessary war that you've gotten us into in Iran. And you don't even know why we're fighting. Once it's nuclear weapons, then it's regime change, then it's this, then it's that. I thought you destroyed all the nuclear weapons a year back in June. What happened to that? What happened to that story? You know, you tell us one story after another story after another story, and you don't even remember which story you've told us. You've told us so many times. I mean, really? We didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for you ever, and MAGA didn't vote for war either. And war is not helping anybody. But you did make the one comment today that the United States is the largest oil producer in the country, in the world, and that we're making money. Yeah, you and your oil buddies are making money. The billionaires are making money off the backs of the American people, just like your tariffs. You made money on that too. Love you for my Democrats, my MAGAs, my crazies, my cuckoos, and the Burnell and Bubba. You happy with this war and these gas prices? And this is just the beginning. It's not the end. Whatever Donald Trump tells you, it's not the end. Just watch.
$4.19 a gallon, Donald Trump. Thank you for the high prices of gas. $4.19. South Florida.
Well, it is looking more and more like the war with Iran is back on full-blown. We'll see. And that is because the U.S. just put sanctions back on Iran after Iran hit 4 tankers in the Strait of Hormuz. And the placement of sanctions back on Iran actually made oil prices rise more than hitting the tankers themselves. I am of the opinion that Iran wanted those sanctions put back on them because when the sanctions were lifted, they were having a very hard time selling their oil. China had completely quit buying oil because it got too expensive. Other countries didn't want to buy Iranian oil because, 1, it was full price, and 2, they knew the sanctions could be reimposed at any time and their money could get held up for a long time. So the assumption today in the markets is that China will resume buying Iranian oil again. Their stoppage of that is actually one of the many things that helped lower oil prices. If they resume, and there's already a report of them purchasing 25 million barrels, that could put upward pressure on oil prices. And we also know there's a record amount of short positions in the oil market, and those guys are going to have to probably start covering those short positions, which could actually initiate a short squeeze in the market. I still think it's going to take a lot more for oil prices to return to where they were initially in the war. Oil isn't even up 5% today, with Ukraine taking out 10 Russian tankers in Russia's largest refinery and Iran taking out 4 tankers in the Strait of Hormuz. Oil would easily normally be up 15, 20% today. It's not even up 5. I think the next question is, will the U.S. respond during the week when market hours are open? If they do, it'll be the first time in a very long time. It's no coincidence that Iran started this on a Monday. Yeah. Thanks.
Oil prices are up today after spiking as high as 6% following a one-sentence declaration from President Trump.
To me, I think it's over.
The memorandum of understanding that allowed ships to pass through the Strait of Hormuz lasted less than 1 month of its 60-day window before the president said it's over. According to maritime intelligence firm Kepler, 41 ships passed through the strait yesterday, up from 36 the day before. But attacks ramping up between the U.S. and Iran put the ships trying to navigate the strait at risk yet again. Kepler warns the focus has now shifted to security, compliance, and risk management.
Anytime if we hit Iran, oil goes up a little bit. It's all right.
Any long-term disruption to the flow of traffic in the Strait of Hormuz is expected to surge gas prices, as it did leading up to the temporary truce.
It's definitely hitting the pocketbook, and it's obviously hitting, the price of groceries and everything else as well.
Gas prices were at their peak on May 7th, with the national average hovering around $4.57 per gallon of regular, according to Gas Buddy. Today, Gas Buddy shows the average down significantly at $3.74. That is still 59 cents higher than last year. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Driving into work this morning, it might be a good day to fill up your tank. That's because we could start to see gas prices jumping again as soon as the end of the week, according to experts. Right when President Trump said that he believes the ceasefire is over at this point, the cost of a barrel of oil jumped. And that's really what drives the cost of gas. It's going to take some time before you start to notice those prices increase again. Not that they're low right now. However, over the last month, the average price of gas has dropped by around 50 cents. Here in Oakland, 56 cents. You can see this gas station right here right now has regular at $5.49 a gallon. So there's a lot of unknowns that remain. We don't know when we'll start to see more traffic flowing through the Strait of Hormuz again, but this likely is signaling an increase in gas prices, according to experts. We'll be keeping an eye on this.
The turn of events that has spooked the global oil market.
Is the ceasefire done? Is the MOU dead?
To me, I think it's over.
I think spooked is kind of the right word here. We've seen that when those initial comments came out, Andrew. We saw an increase of about 6% or so, putting oil at around Brent oil at around $78 US. As we've been watching those the numbers right now, at one point, as Donald Trump was talking, we noted that it jumped about 8%, hitting just over the $80 mark. If we go to a live look now at where those numbers are now, it has come down a little bit, but even in the course of this conversation, I've seen it inching it a little bit up. We don't have that, but I'm seeing off my phone here, it's at 78.92. So we are sort of seeing it sort of hovering around that area there, now well above 6%, et cetera. And this is all coming out of those comments that we heard from the president earlier this morning, considering that the MOU with Iran, which includes the ceasefire, to be, quote, over, reiterating that it is just a waste of time dealing with them. Certainly, then we're seeing the reaction. 20% of oil goes in and out of the Strait of Hormuz, which we're watching very closely. That response in terms of some of the ships being attacked, the United States responding to that. So you're seeing the tumultuous nature of the strait. And experts are certainly saying that is sort of increasing or adding an additional risk factor to the situation already.
Everybody is expecting oil prices now to come back to what I've mentioned earlier, that is below $60 a barrel. Even though globally there is a fair bit of supply, we should be able to supply that global demand. But because of this risk premium, I guess is the word we're using, we're going to see oil prices remain slightly elevated, even if we see some sort of temporary resolution. I think we're just going to see markets remain nervous around that.
So nervous and watching. And Andrew, for us here in Canada, we're an energy country. So when we see some of those prices fluctuate, in a way, it kind of offsets things. But to what you heard there from Pedro Antunes, it is sort of that global impact that is having quite a bit.
All right, y'all. So this is the latest news. And of course, it's not good for the consumer, because all this means is food prices, gas prices, oil, and all kinds of goods are going to go up because the fuel costs are going to rise rapidly. And no, there's no peace talks on the table, but Iran put out some more of those Lego videos. Those were good. I hope you put some more out. So anyway, y'all, it is what it is. The only one that's always going to suffer in this whole thing is us, dealing with all these high ass prices. So I will be back with more lives, but it's going to be a little later. There are still orders I'm pushing out the door. I got a massive amount of them done today, and there's only a few left, and I'm going to finish those up. Once I'm done with those, then I will come back online and do maybe 1 or 2 more lives. So everybody have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and shalom.